Continuing right along our mutual journey of XANDRIA exposure in past eras, we have now entered the graces of the 2015 EP Fire and Ashes, having just finished, very recently in fact, the Sacrificium album, which was quite great, and just hearing one piece, in fact, our initiation to this EP, Voyage of the Fallen, which has all the glitz and glamour of a notable XANDRIA work, certainly of a symphonic metal triumph, and of Diana von Giersbergen's vocal prowess, which I've certainly been enjoying. I can't speak for all of you, and I won't dare, but because music is very much a subjective journey, but I would imagine there would be a general concurrence among any of us XANDRIA longtime fans or developing listeners like myself, or any other initiate listeners, and that's my goal with music exposure, that we're approaching from a variety of different angles, but we are enjoying music in company with perhaps a root pitching mechanism for you to enjoy new talents that you never knew about. XANDRIA may be one, of German origin, one that I've deeply favored, and based on that encounter with Voyage of the Fallen. As I said, signature XANDRIA voice. That's quite clear to me, not only in the distinctive riff patterns and the evolution of the symphonic drive to that number, but Diana's glowing vocals on it. I'm still quite impressed again by the prowess and the allowance of a demonstration of how much range she has and the dualistic layering, I believe, of her voice, or perhaps a choir intrusion, one of the two. But she really impresses me, and again, I'm somebody with XANDRIA and exposure that I've cataloged. Any era that we've explored together I've liked, whether it be with leadership and vocal presence of Manuela Kraler, Diana von Giersbergen, or Amber Verhees presently. I have liked each of the entries, but Diana definitely is a glowing fit, or was at one point. But she still is, of course, in her own efforts, which we will be, like as we're doing with XANDRIA, taking a history deep dive. It's sort of a twofold journey. With XANDRIA and with Diana's credit, we're taking quite a robust look in the future of her career as well, with subsequent efforts post-XANDRIA or in the midst of, soon developing where XANDRIA is the first chapter that will unlock subsequent entries, and that we're getting to, and I'm really excited about our trajectory together. But for now, let's remain in the present with the Fire and Ashes EP, considering the next two original pieces before we get into some deviations of focus in our exposure to XANDRIA generally thus far, in fact, but entering the graces of Unembraced. And if you've not yet been introduced to XANDRIA, I would recommend upon initiation of Listen with this EP that you expose yourself to the first track. It is an absolute highlight. I can't speak in credit to it enough. But Unembraced, like the other entrants following this in Remembrance, and with Voyage of the Fallen, will be a first exposure. The best way to enjoy music, again, in a mutual respect. And for XANDRIA, I'm sure it will be quite a glamorous affair. It's been the case in any previous exposures I've had, alongside all of you. And that's been, I think, the unanimous approach. Well, near that, at least with what we're getting to in XANDRIA exposure for future considerations. We're nearing that. Any piece I've humored, for the most part, we've done in company, certainly on first impression grounds. And with the EP, we're taking an entirety of focus. So let's launch with the next track being Unembraced, together on First Discovery. Already I'm charmed by it. You opened with a piano ballad. These tracks have a different voice to them. Slightly. Quite an invigorating entrance though, real pop mood on First Sensation, but now we're dipping back in that rock metal foot. Familiarized power metal syncopation stylization of the riffs, that's notable again to Sacrificium's voice of origin. But this one still feels differentiated to me. Just slightly. Again, the tangible details on the imagery really appeals to me. Speaking of a fantasy veneer, and they readily employ that. I love how her voice floats above the instrumental. Again, perfect layering, synonymy in different agents of these tunes. It's such an organic melding, though. I love it. Perfect. So many different traits and build of a song, but such a sensational experience. Her natural climbs in terms of vocal delivery really just... There's a good field of operatic singers I like in the metal field, but Diana really has a superiority in remembrance. No pun intended to eventual destinations. The transformations on voice are really, wow. Okay, a drift off. Let's see where this goes. This one has a riff structure that's really easy to dig into. Especially for somebody like me that prefers more forceful metal, widened extremes in symphonic delivery. Wow. Really, the voice on this one just stands out. Beautiful quick return. Well, that's a great line. Familiar transformation and ascendancy. Oh, beautiful rap, too. Ooh, sweet. That is a transfixing piece on mood. A lot of variety and versatility expressed on that with XANDRIA familiarity on voice. Their command, though, on symphonic instrumentals really impresses me. The different extremes they hit and the force. I can see why these pieces are differentiated. I did wonder that. Like, why are these pieces included on just like one of the standard albums? They have a different voice to them. I saw this in subtlety with, again, the vocal presence on an intrusion on Voyage of the Fallen, the modulation patterns with specific layering there, and the organization of a tune, even instrumental grounds. With some of the riff choices and superficial attributes to the number, I did see little threads as to why, okay, this stands apart from familiarity on XANDRIA with tones from what I know on Theater of Dimensions upcoming or Our Journey for Sacrificium. I really see it with this one. But, oh, I gotta tell you, I love the fierceness of it just immediately engaging as a listen. The harder backing, the riff patterns to it. Intense, I love that immediate flavor with me, again, of a power metal pattern. Though you could say a rather open-ended familiarity to metal generally, certainly of, I would say, power and heavy extremes. It really sets in nicely. Paired with Diana's vocal elevation in those chorus sections, what a beautiful demonstration. Carried well by a great key, the scaling, the continual scaling, in fact, on the verse structures and those choruses and the finale. Like, for example, just that slim section, now take a look at our universe, are you still unembraced? The way the vocals in particular are fixed on unembraced, that word, whether it floats from an F-E-F scale or a G, or, A-G-F, especially that last pattern with as high of a register as Diana hits, again, of a spinto soprano range, it's incredible. Immediately reverential in the experience. I love the independent voice, though, that I hear on Unembraced. I don't know if any of you would agree. Again, it's an individualized experience in how we approach music generally. Very much a subjective art. But the intensity on the number, plus the power, I would say a light... Do I want to say it has a pop edge? Maybe. There's that element to it that I can't shake it. It associates quite well into agitated metal familiarity of what I normally love. Again, I prefer that type of aggression, but I have an open-door palette to anything, even stuff outside of metal, considering ever phase 2 introductions of what XANDRIA has been sitting on for a while now in a development journey. We've got a couple exceptions to the metal formality, but to dip into that so directly with quite an adeptly scored number. I love Unembraced, and I thought Voyage of the Fallen was a great entry. Unembraced is a beautiful accompaniment to XANDRIA and quite a, I dare say, fresh experience from them, I think. Similar veins, but told differently. I love an individuality of numbers whenever you see it in that experimentation. This one has a really fun voice to it. will In Remembrance follow suit? We'll see for ourselves when we get to that track together, but for now, I would love to hear your thoughts on Unembraced as an experience and how you approach. Longtime fan or fresh, I listened to XANDRIA. What do you think? I'm still sitting with those vocal choices paired with the immediate riff structure. I love it as a work. Truly. A standout on XANDRIA's library, all things considered. But a definitively strong achievement from them on voice. Well, ironically, I embrace Unembraced quite a bit. Even just on first experience, and I cannot wait for a repeat exposure of what I will take imminently. I love it as an entry. It's perfect XANDRIA on their strengths, with a bit of a freshened facade, in my opinion. One that feels well married to a metal tone. Not just in the symphonic aspect or power metal, but other facets as well. Of a light pop chic and familiarity, maybe on rhythm and lyrical choice perhaps, but in heavy metal extremes, it really sits in nicely. I can't wait to give it a second go. Thank you so much for watching this video. Before you bounce, feel free to drop a like and comment, subscribe to this channel with a ding on the bell, and share this video with your friends. And consider checking out the description here. There you'll find links to my other channels, as well as addresses to my other social media accounts and ways you can help support my work if you feel so inclined. May God bless you, and looking forward to when our paths cross again.